Welcome to another episode of Sparks and Blues, where we talk about lifestyle matters, business-related matters, and of course, career-related matters as well. We'd like to appreciate those of you who have subscribed to our YouTube channel thus far, and those of you who are following us on all our social media handles. We really appreciate you for your support. We appreciate you so much for your likes and comments and for your shares of our videos. We are super grateful because you are those that are able to keep us coming back to give you exciting topics, to look forward to. Would also like to let those of you meeting us for the first time know that you can actually subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can also follow us on all our social media handles so that you can be among those who will receive our exciting videos as soon as they drop. Our videos and our topics are quite exciting, and a lot of people are actually, gaining one or two things, and would encourage you to definitely follow through as well. So yes, for today, I'll be talking about what is really plaguing our systems today. And because this channel speaks to the youths majorly, I'll be talking about peer pressure and how it's still destroying lives, even as adults. So yes, we used to, back in the day when we were quite younger, we used to assume that peer pressure was largely meant to disturb, or let's say distract younger people, or let's say teenagers and below. However, it's unfortunate that today a lot of people are still struggling with peer pressure, especially in today's era of strong social media impacts. I would not say it's social media. I will still relate it largely to the topic, which is peer pressure. So yes, a lot of people want to belong. A lot of people feel ignited and feel pushed to want to do what their peers are doing, to want to match up, to want to compete, and all of those kinds of things. When I speak to people and, competitive kinds of body language are being shown or thrown around, I simply own up to them and tell them, well, I'm not a competitive person. I don't believe in it because it gives you pressure. And if competitiveness is giving you pressure and you're within your peer, that's it. That's what peer pressure is, because if you don't kill that innate thing that makes you want to compete on all fronts and you are within your peers, definitely you're going to be dealing with peer pressure. And that's what we want to talk about today. So it's important that we break it down to know what is causing it. If you are not competitive in nature, then you are not likely going to be pressured by your peers. You are not likely going to be influenced against your will. This is not even about negative influence, as it were probably when you were younger or in teenage years. What I'm talking about significantly today is still largely related to being successful and largely related to financial freedom and financial stability, or let me say financial comfort. So living above your means due to peer pressure, due to wanting to be competitive, it's one of the biggest things that you should learn to avoid, try to do away with into this world. And that's what I'm trying to talk about. So you see a lot of people wanting to really compete, wanting to be like their friends, wanting to be like their peers, whereas they probably lack what it takes to be there, or have no clue of what is behind some of these things, and then they begin to run into troubled waters. So for instance, what I'm talking about is you're probably working and then you see a friend of yours who decides to quit their job and wants to become an entrepreneur. Don't go and copy them. They probably carry certain gene that enables them to fight or run the race of entrepreneurship. You may not have that. They probably have the drive naturally. You may lack that. So those are some of the things. And then if you happen to be within this group of people and you just feel that, oh, my friend is not an entrepreneur, and hopefully probably they are doing well, and you just think that is the next thing to dive into, you might be making the wrong decision. So those are the kinds of pressures I'm talking about today. So going into entrepreneurship is definitely a good thing, but do not be pressured to go into it if you are not ready. That's what I mean. Marriage is another one. So you've seen your friends getting married and then you begin to get pressured. Getting married is a beautiful thing, it's a good thing. We all hope and look forward to that. However, I don't think it's encouraged that you get pressured because a lot of your friends within your circle have now gotten married. It's important that you look well. Marriage is one of the biggest decisions you would ever take as a human being. So if you get yourself pressured into getting married, then in marriage you are definitely left alone, by the way. So you will have that to deal with, or if you think that, a couple of your friends have been, well, I don't know if it's luck, I don't know the right word, have probably gotten married to billionaires, as the trend is today, and you then think that, I'm not ever going to get married until I find a billionaire. These are the kinds of pressures we are talking about. These are the exact kinds of peer pressures I'm talking about today. We need to be mindful. We need to be confident in our own skin. Some of the ways, to avoid being pressured by your peers is you need to, first of all, like I said earlier, avoid being competitive. It's of no point. It's going to take you nowhere. It's only going to enable you land into troubled waters. Then you also need to ensure that you don't want to keep copying people, because my friend has done this, I also want to do it. You need to think through as an adult. You need to think through situations, through decisions properly before you make them. So do not say, because a couple of my friends have been able to marry billionaires, I'm going to stay single until I find a billionaire. Those are the kinds of things, and other things, lifestyle, maybe, women tend to talk a lot, and in some instances maybe exaggerate, or it could be true as well. Say things like, my spouse does this, does that, I fly private jets, I move with a private jet, in fact I don't use my legs anymore. And then you begin to get worried, begin to think that until you find someone who can put you through the private jet system, you are not going to be dating to probably get yourself into an appropriate relationship. So these are like peer pressures that would cause you into troubled water, lead you into troubled waters, cause you to experience probably negativities at the long run. So these are some of the things I'm talking about today. People do a lot of things, some of your friends, your peers, could tell you things like, I'm no longer going to live on the mainland, I'm moving to the island because I hear that is where you can be successful. And then you begin to pressure your spouse, because you tell your spouse things like, Kemi and her husband, they've moved to Lekki. Chinedu and his spouse, they've moved to Ikoyi. I can't stay in Okota anymore. Whether you like it or not, you need to get a loan, we need to move, and things like that, and you get your spouse into troubled waters. So these are the kinds of negative peer pressures that I'm talking to us about today. A lot of them are ongoing. They are super dangerous. They are super stressful. They put you in stressful situations, get you into troubled waters, mess up your finances, stress your relationships, worsen your situations. So it's important that you stay true to yourself, you stay confident in your own skin. You first of all ensure and learn and master how to not be competitive. It's very important. One of the best ways to avoid being competitive, because it's not easy, to be honest, is you need to ensure that your mind is positively engaged, guys. If you have a positively engaged mind, constantly you have positive things you're thinking about, especially around trying to build. Trust me, it will be difficult for you to be distracted. It will be difficult for you to feel like as though you are losing out. When you see people hitting success, you would know that yours is also coming. Of course, I'm not going to take away the grace of God, but you can learn it. Make sure your mindset is not wasting away. Make sure your mindset is not lacking busy, positive ideas. When your mindset is busy, you would not put yourself or find yourself being competitive. You would appreciate your successful friends, your successful relatives, and people around you. And then you would know that yours is also coming. And then you will not be competitive, because being competitive is just going to ruin you, especially when you don't have the resources. You just keep competing, and then disorganizing a lot of things. Also, in some instances, it might not even be you competing. It might be you not being able to make decisions that are suitable for you at different stages in life. And then you begin to take in advices from peers that are detrimental to your own plans, to your own relationships, or to your own existence. So you need to be mindful. When your peers, you're in a peer group and they are giving you advices, you need to know the ones to take, you need to know the ones to drop, and be open about it. For instance, you want to buy a vehicle and people say, oh, don't buy the Toyota brand. You can see that we all now drive XX brand, for example. You need to ensure that you are buying what you can afford. Living above your means to please your peers is negativity. It's going to ruin a lot of things around your life, your relationship, your finances, your mental health, and a lot of things. It's as good as saying you're living a fake life. And do not be carried away by the lifestyle you see on social media, the way you see people prepare. People practically prepare, get dressed, stand in front of the camera to appear on social media. So it's important that you break these things down. Have a scientific way of reasoning. The fact that people appear that way on social media doesn't mean that's exactly how they look in real life. And even if they do look that way in real life, it's okay. You can build yourself if that is your dream. But running ahead of your shadow is huge. It's something that you should avoid because the end result is not likely going to be palatable. It's not likely going to be good for you. And that is what I've come to talk to you about today. Avoid, being pressured by your peers.